Remember how I told you she never liked Al? She never liked Funky Dineva. You can go to Funky Dineva's page right now. Funky Dineva clocked it. Okay? So, hey, I'm at dinner with friends after a very rough Zoom call with production after the show. Mind you, this is way before Armon got hired, Gumby. This was when, Funky, was, I guess in contract negotiations. I don't know if this was before or after. But she goes, it was horrible. He was yelling at me and blames me in front of production, of course. Totally throwing me under the bus. I'm so over these.
No way. No way. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Hell no. Hell no. Hell no. She was just over here talking about how much she loved the community and support the community, and she stick her neck out for the community, and she have a safe space for the community. I can't believe that. I'm gonna have to see that for myself. Can y'all, what? I ain't calling nobody a liar. I'm just saying, ooh, that's hard to believe.
Anything that bothers me is thinking I have an animosity towards the community when I created the show to make it a safe space where they weren't, they're not gimmicky on our show. Like, there are men in the community that are not being pimped out to be like my bestie or my props. They have their voices. They actually get heard the most. And I love that. I love that there's a show that doesn't exploit gay or bisexual men that have them looking like pawns. Like, they actually have, and they've been able to flourish in that space. I love that. I brought T.S. Madison's show to the platform. I love Maddie. I just want people to not believe that bullshit, because that really bothered me.
He was yelling at me and blames me in front of production, of course. Totally throwing me under the bus. I'm so over these.
No way.
Okay. Then I say, who? She says, Al. It's super ridiculous. I said, Jesus. She goes, super ugly. Quote, no good deed goes unpunished. You free? Just wrapping up with Flame, she says. We can chat tomorrow. This is when Funky lost his damn mind. I wanted to tell you, Claudia, this is not including, not only does this solidify your disdain for Al, you never liked him. You always wanted to punish him and get him back. Armon wasn't even on the team yet. So the fact that Armon has all this information about who Al was and how he wants to do this and sabotage the show and all of that, and it's like you weren't there long enough to even know. Claudia been on this energy. Because Claudia throws a rock and hides her hand. I spent countless number of hours on the phone with manic Claudia, and I can show you the messages. Girl, will you just get on the phone? I can't get on the phone. I'm losing my shit. Just all the time. Just Karen energy. Just all the time. And so here's the thing. Like, you knew that so-called roast was coming because you helped to plan it. Yo, girl, I ain't even unloaded the whole thread. I don't want to. But what I wanted to say is that you never liked Al. You never liked Funky.
We had several conversations on the phone behind the scenes about him asking for more money, okay, behind Al and Claudia's back, because he felt like he drove the show.
See, now you're trying to drive a narrative that simply is not true. Number one, I would never sit on the phone and have several conversations about my money or my contract with you, of all people.
No detail, even Funky Dineva posted it, and him and I ain't even rocking with each other, okay? But we gave respect when respect is due. He came back and he corrected, saying he doesn't, he didn't talk to me about the contract negotiations. You did. You probably didn't go into specifics, but you spoke to me about contract negotiations. And I'm very keen on contract negotiations.
Secondly, the negotiations that I had about my money were not behind Al and Claudia's back, but were within the parameters of negotiation time for my contract. Al and Claudia had a 12-month contract. I had a 6-month contract. So the reason why I was having negotiations about my money is because my contract was due to expire. The reason why I had a 6-month contract and the reason why I subsequently walked from Foxhole is because when we went from 2 days a week to 5 days a week, they cut our episodic rate. They cut us down to $1,000 an episode. The head at the network said, okay, we can't give him his same rate, but instead we will give him a 6-month contract. And at the end of 6 months, we can talk about renegotiating his contract. When those 6 months came up and they handed me the same exact contract that I had had previously, I was offended. They were not trying to budge on giving me any more money. And that is when I decided to walk, because I knew what my contribution was to this show. And as you stated later in this video, why would I sit here and build up their YouTube and split the money when I can do my own YouTube and keep all of the money? There was no firing. There's no conspiracy theory. There's no behind anybody's back. Carry on.
Okay? I ain't never twisted nobody's words or nothing. If I have, I will go back in and correct them, but it's not intentionally. Just like Funky just posted a post and he was like, this ain't what I remember telling you. That's cool, but it's what I remember you telling me. Maybe I perceived it wrong, but you have the right to correct it because it's always 3 sides to a story, okay?
Oh, you ain't gonna believe this, honey. Honey, Funky Dineva has entered the room and he is addressing Tasha K. He said, Tasha K, you got some stuff wrong, okay? So I want to play what Funky Dineva said, and also he edited the video, and he said everything else was spot right. And he said now you guys can see why he left the show, why it was easy for him, all right? Now you are watching The Messy Sweet Spot. I am your host, Miss Gigi. Welcome. Make sure you subscribe and listen here.
He was essentially fired. He says he was let go, but they didn't renew his contract. Okay, he was getting paid a hefty salary, $250,000 plus a year. Claudia makes about $300, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, I'm telling the business. Okay, Al makes about $150. And it goes by popularity and the value that you bring to the show, right? And I've always had my reservations about Foxhole and.
It did not go by popularity. Everybody made the same exact salary, $1,000 an episode, $250,000 per year. And I, for the umpteenth time, was not let go. I opted to not renew my contract after it expired on December 22nd.
And so when me and Claudia had dinner, I was just like, listen, I think it should be him. Her comment to me, and I agreed, because I've had my own issues with certain black gay men, not all, mainly the F's. Can't say that word over here. I'll definitely say it on TashaKLive.com. It gets too messy. And so she was already irritated with Funky because they were going back and forth. And then she was irritated with Al. And she's like, I really don't want no more gay boys. I'm just done. I really want a heterosexual person. Down. Now here's what has been going on. Claudia don't like Al. She personally told me. Claudia don't like Funky. She was tired of working with gay boys, specifically F's. Per me. That ain't no allegedly on that. We had dinner. We talked about it. The same night when she told me she was friends with Jay-Z's alleged ex. That ain't here no more. She X'd off, okay? And quickly got amnesia. And so what's happening is Claudia is very messy. Claudia talks about everybody. This is why Funky got energy for her. This is why Al called Funky Dineva doing this. Play the video of him calling Funky. Let's go.
Hold on before you talk.
No,
I'm on live.
You need to hear this on live.
Hold on. People can hear you.
I don't give a fuck.
Because here's what happened. Claudia spends a lot of time on the phone kikiing with folks that she don't really know. Okay? And Armon is an easy target. You tell him something, he's going to take it in because he's an energy absorber, right? Okay? He's going to take it in and he's thinking he's going to fix the problem, but instead he don't even know when he being used. He doesn't know. Slips. They're getting paid close to or over $500,000 to host a show that's barely bringing in 60,000 views. That is why they had to implement a fourth guest host, because he's not strong enough. Nobody was stronger than Dineva. But then you want Claudia to pillow talk in your ear about everything that's going on, and you ain't even been on the job a full year. You don't know what's going on behind the scenes. And furthermore, while you're listening to Claudia, because she's friends and she likes to brag with the president of Fox, and he loves the show, he loves me, right? I get to bring as many shows as I want. We're getting syndicated, only for the show to decline.
TGIF tonight and call me back.
All right, bye.
That was a lot of information that Armon had in such a short time, which means somebody's been talking to him. The only person that talks too much is Claudia. I know. The first encounter with me, you run your mouth like liquid to me? You didn't say off the record? Me. We're talking about me here. We're not friends. We're colleagues. You talk about me on your show, I'm going to talk about you on my show. That's the dynamic of the relationship. We're not friends, right? You can take the comments down for a second. But here's where I have the problem with Armon. That was an amazing read, but it was very mean-spirited. It didn't come from a happy place. It didn't even come from a genuine place. It came from a place that sounds like you were fueled, and you're blaming Al for getting a talk show canceled when he's the one that helped to build the job that you have. You wouldn't even be able to sit there if it wasn't for Al. Al comes from TV. Despite Al having favoritism with management, he understands how to network within the television industry. Now, what you just showed as a very, very young personality to somebody that has favoritism is that you are sabotaging the show. Not only are you sabotaging the show, you're not strong enough to carry the show like Funky, and that's why they had to bring in a Lunel and a T.S. Madison, because you're refusing to do your homework. You're very great with the tongue, very slick. You can read a bitch down, right? But television is not looking for that. They're looking for people that are well-versed in a vast area of topics, and they're able to appeal to a certain type of audience that understands, okay, intellectual conversations. But for you to do that, I'm like, you haven't gotten any opportunities on the red carpet yet. They haven't asked you to host Dish Nation. She hasn't even introduced you to the president that she says loves her so much. But she fueled you to go in on Al because she was too bitch to do it herself. Right? Just like when she was talking shit about Funky, she was too scared to do it herself. She used you as the pawn, and because you're emotional and erratic and easy to manipulate, you went in talking about things you knew nothing about because you ain't been there long enough. And if you really got your eyes open, you will see that they're trying to replace you right before your eyes. Not Al, you.
Tasha K, I never wanted any sort of adversarial relationship with you or any other person on social media. I don't take digs, throw shots, or shade at you or any other YouTuber, and I honestly wish y'all would grant me the same courtesy. There is enough celebrity gossip out there for us not to be going at each other. That has been and will always be my position. With that being said, there are certain parts of your commentary that are flat out not true and speculative on your part at best. I've taken the liberty to correct those things. Outside of that, your commentary was pretty spot on. In all honesty, I am glad y'all are starting to see why it was so easy for me to walk away from this show.